Welcome to the Working Man BowHunter. My name is Butch, and today we're going to be making my favorite recipe for baked beans. It's one I've concocted over the last couple of years and has definitely become a friend and family favorite and easily the most requested dish for me to bring to any event or function. What's nice about the recipe is it's easy and quick to make, which is definitely nice. So the recipe I'll be making today will feed 10 to 12 people easily for a side dish. So to start off with, you're going to need some sort of container. We like to use a disposable metal type container. This just helps with cleanup and ease for transporting to friends and family's houses. You'll then need your favorite type of beans. We like to use Bush's beans. It's the one that we like to use. For this recipe, you'll need a 28 ounce can and a 16 ounce can. If you wanted to feed more than 12 people, just jump up to two 28 ounce cans. We choose two different types. They make a variety. We like to use maple cured and we like to use regular just to get it for a little more depth of flavor. So to start out with, we're going to mix them together. Then after you dump them into the pan, you're going to, again, like I mentioned, mix them together just to get all that flavor mixed up. We like to use a rubber style spatula. They seem to be really nice for the ingredients not sticking to them. All right, now that the beans are mixed up, we're going to start adding the spices. We start off with adding a ½ teaspoon of garlic salt and just spread it over the beans as such. We'll then add a 1 teaspoon of paprika, ½ teaspoon of black pepper, and then we're going to mix the spices up. Then after we do that, we're going to start adding the wet ingredients, but again, we like to mix the spices up to get them all soaked into the beans. Okay. All right, now for the wet ingredients, we'll start off with adding your favorite type of barbecue sauce. We like to use Sweet Baby Ray's, and we add a ½ cup. And again, all these amounts you can adjust a little bit accordingly, but this is what we feel makes the best baked beans. Okay. From there, we're going to add a tablespoon of molasses. This gives it a nice, rich, thick flavor, sweet flavor. You can also supplement this with honey if you choose to do so. Then you're going to add your favorite type of ground mustard. We like to use one that's made by Founders. It's a IPA type honey mustard. It's really nice. And this next one we're pretty excited about. It's something that we've recently just added to the recipe. It's a sweet sauce made by Chef's Wild Game Sauces. They're based out of Ohio. The one that we'll be using today is their sweet pepper sauce, but you can see they make two other types you can see here, and you can find them at chefssauces.com. What this does is it gives us a little bit of a sweet kick to it. Okay, and now we're at this point, we're also going to add a ½ cup of brown sugar. We mix at this point to allow it to dissolve into the baked beans. And now we're going to stir everything up. And then for the shaved sauces, we've been adding typically about 2 tablespoons. Again, you can adjust that accordingly. Right now, we feel that it gives us just the right amount of sweet kick. And then same thing for the ground honey mustard. We use a ½ cup. So we mix it up real good, allowing the brown sugar to dissolve into the beans. Get everything mixed up, especially that molasses. The molasses is a little bit thicker, so you want to make sure it's mixed up accordingly. Now we're going to add the thicker ingredients. which is crumbled bacon. And again, we just buy it pre-crumbled, pretty easy to do. We like to add 2 cups, and you can adjust this accordingly. If you like bacon, you can add a little bit more. Again, all depends on what your preference is. And then you're gonna add 2 to 3 cups, this one's 3 cups, of your favorite type of shredded cheese. You don't want the real thick stuff, more of a fine type shredded cheese. And you add this last because this will be the toughest thing to mix into the recipe. And then at this point, you're gonna just mix it all up. You wanna get that cheese really mixed into the beans because when it bakes, the cheese will melt and it really acts as a nice binding substance to the beans as well. So give it a really good stir, and then make sure it's nice and flat before you put it into the oven. The oven has been preheated to 375 degrees. So now that it's all nice and flat and mixed up, we're gonna put it into the oven for 75 minutes and let it bake. We'll then come back after 75 minutes and check up on it. Typically what we like to do is then take the temperature of the oven down to 170 degrees, which is the lowest oven setting, and let it bake for another hour. What this does is allow the beans to get nice and thick. So I'll see you back in 75 minutes. All right, now that we've let the beans cook at 375 degrees for 75 minutes, we then turn the oven down to 170 degrees and let it bake for another hour to really let the beans thicken up. The beans are all done. You can see nice how thick the beans look. So that's how simple the recipe is for baked beans. I hope you enjoyed the recipe, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know at workingmanbowhunter@gmail.com. Thank you.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again.